Most people think the Mongol Empire was run only by fierce male warriors like Genghis Khan, Ögedei Khan, and Kublai Khan. But hidden in the pages of history is a woman who took control of the largest land empire the world has ever seen. Her name was Töregene Khatun, and her story is one of political brilliance, intense power struggles, and a quiet domination that history books barely even mention. How did she rise to power? Well, Töregene Khatun wasn't born into it. She married Ögedei Khan, Genghis Khan's third son and successor, at a time when Mongol politics were brutal, unpredictable, and completely dominated by men. But Töregene wasn't just another royal wife. She was intelligent, ambitious, and extremely skilled at navigating the complex and dangerous tribal politics of the Mongols. When Ögedei died in 1241, the empire, which stretched all the way from Korea to Eastern Europe, was thrown into total uncertainty. Traditionally, a new great Khan would be chosen quickly to maintain stability. But Töregene did something nobody expected. She blocked the succession. She argued that the empire needed a period of calm before selecting a new ruler. But in truth, she was buying herself time to make her move. So, how did she actually take control of this massive empire? Instead of allowing the next Khan to be elected, Töregene started to methodically consolidate her power. She gathered her supporters, removed officials who were loyal to Ögedei's rivals, and filled key positions with her own allies. Step by step, she built her own power structure within the empire's administration. She became the de facto ruler of the entire Mongol Empire, not through an official coronation or a grand ceremony, but by controlling the people who controlled the empire. It was a masterclass in political maneuvering. And here's what makes her rule even more unique. Töregene governed not from a magnificent palace or a capital city, but from a traveling royal camp, constantly moving across the vast steppe in the traditional Mongol style. Her headquarters was essentially a mobile government made up of tents, soldiers, secretaries, diplomats, and advisors. Just imagine running the largest empire in history from a moving fortress, always shifting, always on the move. This wasn't just a lifestyle choice. It was a strategic one. It kept her connected to the Mongol heartland and made it harder for her rivals to pin her down. From this mobile command center, she held the reins of an empire that shaped the course of world history. Under Töregene's leadership, the empire didn't weaken, it strengthened. She oversaw massive administrative reforms, restored and secured vital trade networks like the Silk Road, and restructured tax policies across Central Asia and China. Some historians even argue that she revived the empire's economy more effectively than her husband, Ögedei, ever did. She also encouraged scholars, diplomats, and religious leaders from different cultures to visit her camp, turning it into a truly global political hub. She personally negotiated foreign relations with kingdoms as far away as Europe and the Middle East. So while Europe was living in fear of the Mongol invasion, the person coordinating much of Mongol diplomacy was a woman operating from a mobile tent city. Töregene also supported architectural and cultural projects in Persia and China, showing that she wasn't just maintaining the empire, she was actively shaping its future. But of course, power always comes with enemies. The deeply male-dominated Mongol leadership hated the idea of a woman holding ultimate power for too long. Töregene's authority was a direct threat to many powerful princes and generals who all wanted their own candidate to become the next Khan. The moment she finally called for the election of a new ruler, her own son, Gaik, the political atmosphere turned violent. Rival families accused her of manipulating the empire for her own gain. Allies were turned, and some were even executed. Her influence, once absolute, began to crack under the immense pressure. Only a few months after her son Gaik was finally crowned Great Khan, Töregene died under mysterious circumstances. Some historians believe she was assassinated by her political enemies. Others think she was simply pushed aside by her own son's faction once she was no longer useful to them. Her legacy was then intentionally minimized by the male chroniclers of that era, who were eager to erase the memory of a woman who had outplayed them all. So why does history barely mention her? Töregene Khatun ruled one of the most powerful empires the world has ever seen for nearly 5 years. Yet her name is rarely found in textbooks. Why? Because history is often written by the victors, by those who hold power, and in medieval Mongol society, that was unequivocally men. They were uncomfortable with the fact that a woman had so skillfully outmaneuvered them politically and ruled the empire so effectively. But today, historians are finally digging deeper and recognizing that the Mongol Empire's success wasn't only due to warriors on horseback. A significant part of its stability and prosperity during that critical period came from the sharp political mind of Töregene. Töregene Khatun's rule shows that real power doesn't always come from swords or crowns. Sometimes it comes from strategy, patience, and knowing exactly when to move the right pieces on the board. Let us know in the comments whose hidden story you want us to uncover next. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe.